Hi, everyone. It's good to see you guys. Oh, my goodness. Hey, Barbara. Hi, Faith. Hi, George. Hi, Craig. I hope everyone is doing well. Also, let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. In fact, let me make sure my settings are right for my recording. Oh, well, that's nice. Oh, there it is. I think it's good. Let me know though, okay? Let me know if you can hear me. I think you can see me fine, but let me know if you can hear me. Anyway, how has everyone been? It's been forever, right? Well, Jeff and I went live from Australia twice, once with John, once in the park. Oh, and maybe a few little eating things that we did. And then got back, and it has been nutso. So for those of you who caught the little live update the last time I did it, I told you I was taking a break, and I'm still on break, but I just miss you guys. So I thought, well, I've gotten some projects done, and I just thought this was a good night to kind of pop on here and say hi to everyone. Hey, Brittany, how are you? Hi, Dawn. Hi, Juliet. How are you? Hi, Mary. Good. It looks like everyone can see and hear me fine. That's wonderful. Jeff is going to try to pop in. He is at work, but I sent him the link. I told him you guys want to see him. Otherwise, you might think that I've done away with him and put him in a pond or something, but I haven't. He's around. He has not done any video editing, right? And I'm going to talk about that a little bit. We have discovered a few things about each other, about ourselves, and about our relationship. And that is that we totally feed off of each other, which is mostly a good thing. But I wasn't doing any recipe development either. Like I couldn't get motivated. And Jeff wasn't motivated to do any video editing. And then we changed our life around a little bit. And I'm going to talk about that. Because it's for quality of life, which is so, so important. And now we are kind of moving forward with things back on track. So, okay, yes, George, that is in beta right now. So George is saying, love the addition of the on-screen graphic so we see Facebook post on YouTube and vice versa. Yes, that I just saw today when I logged in. It's a beta thing through StreamYard. So I thought, let me turn that on because people, usually can't see the comments unless I put them up. They'll see them if they're on YouTube, they'll see YouTube comments, but not the Facebook comments. So this is a way to keep us all in the loop. All right, Brittany, what's for dinner tonight? Brittany's making breakfast for dinner. That's always wonderful. That is such a nice, easy thing to do for dinner. I am having just leftover Chinese food. That's all. I'm not cooking. I made taco salads last night. George. I'm going to talk about George in a minute. Not you, George Kim. George the dog. Jeff took taco salads tonight for his dinner. All right, so let's talk about George. So for those of you who do not know, our dog George, who is a pit bull mix, kind of a big dog, I would say. At his heaviest, he was probably around 65, 70 pounds, kind of weighs in at about 55 right now. When we got back from Australia, something happened to him very oddly. I happened to be right there. He just shrieked out in pain, like just shrieked, not shrieked out in pain, and fell flat on the floor, jumped off the chair, fell flat on the floor. We had no idea what was going on. He does have some back hip issues from time to time. They usually resolve themselves. So we waited a little bit of time. It did not resolve. It did not get better. The ataxia was really bad. We took him to the vet, ended up having to have surgery. So he had a herniated disc that had to be fixed. And his recovery was challenging, let me tell you. First of all, it was crate rest most of the time. Exercises had to be done. He had to be walked on a leash, which he's not used to, and it rains every day in Mississippi, every single day. I'm convinced every single day, probably for months. It seems to have been raining. So it was really challenging. And Jeff was at our Tennessee house with the other dogs, and I was here in Corinth, trying to rehab George. And Jeff would come back. He would come here on his way to work and walk George and do things like that. George does much better for Jeff than he does for me. So anyway, Long story short, it was very challenging. It was a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. Very time consuming because George is so incredibly stubborn. He was not on my schedule. I had to learn to be on his. When he wanted to get up and walk, he wanted to do it right then. If he didn't, it could be, I would have to check on him every 30 minutes until he was ready. And that could take hours. So literally could eat up my whole day just saying, honey, are you ready to go out yet? He was vomiting a lot, a little bit of incontinence in the crate, which was weird. And I know he hated that. And it was, of course, the poop kind, which laundry after laundry, cleanup after. I felt like a nurse again. I'm like, good Lord. Okay, here we go. Anyway, then we made the decision before the vet gave approval. I said to Jeff, I think George is depressed and we need to bring his people home. We need to bring Gus and Callie and Boots, the cat, who's kind of making a little appearance in the back corner there. And we need to do this together because George he would have good days and bad days, good days and bad days, good days and bad days. Well, I'll be damned if that wasn't the best medicine ever, because as soon as we were all back together again, George made strides like I've never seen. He has been completely released from the vet. He is now, I think, week 6 post-op. They say by week 8, he can do steps and return to normal. He's already doing steps. We're there with him, of course. We can't let him bound down steps. We can't let him really jump on or off furniture, but that's becoming a challenge too, because George does what George wants to do. But all in all, this $1 million surgery, which it was very expensive, has been a complete success. So we are thrilled. So that is checkbox 1, done. Rehab is pretty much done. Okay. Now, some of you know that we had a porch built on this is where I film videos. So this is just, it's a living room, but this is my office. My desk is right in front of me. We film videos in the other room. That's the kitchen. And then we want to do some more wood fire videos. And our deck boards were pretty much rotting. You know, the deck needed to be replaced. The stairs were becoming unsafe, even for the dogs. I certainly wouldn't walk down them. So we needed to have it done. So we had it done when we were in Australia. First mistake. You should be around when you're having a major thing done like that. We got back and there was problem after problem after problem after problem. I mean, I understand there's going to be little things here and there that happen. I mean, nobody's perfect and, you know, we make mistakes and things like that. We get that. This was way more than that though. Like, just to give you an idea, the handrails. So the railings on the deck, they come up to my shoulders. About 48 inches or so. They actually are 48 inches. That's like way higher than any normal standard thing. I have no idea. When Jeff asked why they did that, it was a design decision. Okay. Well, you probably should have checked with us. Then the spindles or balusters or whatever you want to call them, they don't meet code. So if we go to sell the house again, that could cause some problems. They're spaced too far apart. We don't have little kids, so it's not that big of a deal for us. But you know, they should meet code, right? I mean, this is a qualified contractor. Okay, so then we tell them that's from my French doors were put in backwards. So the threshold actually that should be on the outside that goes into the enclosed porch is on the inside. That means that the blinds are controlled from the outside. So weird, because I have blinds in the windows. They just ordered the wrong door. It can get complicated with French doors. I even understand that, right? But the list is just mounting and mounting and mounting. So not going to tell you all the things because you'll laugh. The sink. I got to tell you this. The sink. We had a sink put in because I do cooking videos, as you guys know. And with cooking videos comes dishes. And if I'm outside, it is so much easier to be able to put something into a sink that's in the enclosed porch and carry on with video than walking all the way through the house, you know, and getting it into the inside sink. So we had a sink put in, but it was plumbed to the yard. Yeah. So it just open faucet, goes down, out to yard. Okay. Well, that's fine in the country. I know a lot of people do that for gray water. I'm not knocking that. Okay, we're not in the country. This house is not in the country. This house is in the city. So in my house in Bethel Springs on 16 acres, if I wanted to do that for like the chickens or something, just to have something easy, I could do that, just to have water. But I didn't. When I put in a sink down by the chicken coop, I had it plumbed in because, it seems right. So, and we have drainage issues here anyway. So I'm like, oh my God, the sink runs to the ground. Oh my God. Okay, can't use that. And then the roof started leaking and to the enclosed porch. And it just is linking. We called a gutter guy because I needed my gutters done anyway on the rest of the house. And he tried to put up a new gutter. The roof is, how a roof will be pitched, right? But from right to left, it's supposed to be level. Well, when he tried to put the gutter up, he can't put the gutter up so the gutter functions because the roof isn't level. And then another thing that was hilarious is they put up the gutter. This is the contractor people, not my gutter people. The gutter people I use were fantastic. But the contractor guy, he said, when it rained, because it rains here every day, like I said, and I'm not even joking. When it was raining, I walked outside. I was like, what is this like really loud noise? I mean, it was really crazy noise. Well, they put the elbow on. You know how you have a downspout and sometimes it'll bend around this way and then go down, right? Well, they put it on backwards. So the water was going in and just pouring straight out. They did everything wrong. They used the wrong materials, so now they're rotting because they're not designed for that. I mean, they did everything wrong. So we've been dealing with that. Then to find a contractor who actually knows what they're doing, really difficult, very difficult. So I was joking with my friend. I'm like, I'm going to start learning how to build a deck because I can learn these things. I can even go to electrician school and learn how to do these things before I can find a damn contractor worth a damn that can come over here and fix these things. And I'm not joking. It is crazy. So that's the deck issue. We have a roofer coming tomorrow at 7:30. Oh, I'm hoping. Oh, I forgot to tell you one of the most beautiful things, which I'll have to post pictures about this later. So when you walk out the French doors, and it used to be sliding doors, right? So it always went out to a deck. And the deck, you know how you have, I'm going to call it a soffit. I'm not sure if I'm using the right words because I haven't gone to construction school yet, but I'm going. But yeah, you have an awning and it overhangs a little bit. And I'm just going to say this, these jackasses, because that's what they are. They did not tap the new roof. They did not cut that off. They boxed it in. So that's where it was leaking. So now all the stuff that they used, the materials that they used, which they shouldn't have really used in a place where it rains every damn day, was all like, I was holding water, it was rotting. Because when they did it, where they did attach the roof, they bent the things back too far and ripped them. So now all the water's going under the shingles, right? And then of course it saturates the wood and then eventually it drips out, right? We had to take all that down. So Jeff took all that down for me. Yeah, because I said the worst thing you can do is trap water in a ceiling. Like we don't want that. Like, because it rains every day, like I said 100 times. Okay, so let me go back and say hi to people. I know that was kind of a rampage and you probably don't really care, but I just want you to know where we've been, what we've been doing, because it has been crazy. Oh, Crystal. So I never said I was quitting YouTube. I said I was taking a break. There's a big difference. So I'm taking a break from YouTube. YouTube is YouTube and Google. And Facebook. They're all weird right now. I'm just letting the waters kind of smooth over a little bit. Let's see what happens. But I'm not going to stop doing videos, even if I don't post them to YouTube, which I may or may not. But I'm definitely on break from YouTube. But if I'm not going to stop doing videos. Period. They just may be seen a different way, like I have a whole thing called Kajabi, where if you've seen my courses, that you can go in and it's unlimited video hosting. So it's a much better environment, in my opinion, than it is with with YouTube. So don't worry, Crystal. I'm not going anywhere. I'm coming back even stronger and better and more focused than ever because I've been napping every day. Mm-hmm. I've been going to sleep early. Hmm. And I'm starting to get up early like I used to, like 5:30, bouncing out of bed. Well, that is if the leg cramp and the foot cramps don't take over first. Then it's more of a hobble. But anyway, my mind is getting right again. And that's the most important thing. And let me tell you, my friends, if you ever feel like you are in burnout and you are so stressed that you can't deal with things, you are, and you were already there a few weeks to a few months ago. We've got to listen to ourselves when we're getting close to burnout because it is debilitating and it can ruin your life. Okay. So always pay attention to how your body feels. If you need to take a break from something, I mean, there are certain things adults we can't necessarily take a break from, like our children and unless they're grown, and our pets and stuff like that. But whenever you can find some time to take a break for yourself, do that. I've been listening to books on tape, out in the leaky lounge. That's what I call it. The enclosed porch. I call it the leaky lounge now. So out in the leaky lounge, I'll listen to a book on tape and I won't think about anything else. I will really just listen to that book on tape. Well, sometimes I stare at the ceiling and think where it's going to spring a leak again, but that's just me having some fun. Thank you, Jolene. I appreciate that. Yes, Juliet, we're back to George a little bit, so I'm going to kind of be bouncing as I read these comments. Yes, he did not understand where his family was. In fact, one really funny thing that he did when I had him outside walking is, and with a leash, I mean, he was on a harness and a leash and stuff. Man, he was so interested in the neighbors that pulled up. It was like so embarrassing for me because he is like straining to get to them, like really trying to get away from me, like I have him in captivity, like I'm abusing him or something. It was so embarrassing. But that's just George. He loves people and he needs to be around his family. That's exactly right. So once we did that, everything started to get better. Yes, George, your troublesome pal is getting better. He is on the mend. We're doing good. Everything's good. Colleen was sharing a story about having contractors do work when you're out of town. Yeah, that was not the smartest thing to do. And I'm sorry I'm a little fuzzy. This is not auto-focusing like it should be, and I don't know why. At least it looks a little fuzzy for me, but I'm not going to do anything. Well, maybe I'll. Ooh, I do look a little fuzzy, don't I? I don't know why. It's not focusing right. But anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. You can watch me fuzzy. It's fine. Yeah, it's been a little bit crazy. Juliet said, did students do all that? The deck, they no. These are supposed to be professionals. Students did Georgia's surgery, but they real contractors supposedly. They're not though. Obviously, they do not know what they're doing. It's really crazy. Hey Judy, how are you? Hi Debbie, how are you? Good morning, John. How are you doing? Excuse me. All right, so we've got deck story. We've got George story, project story. So when Jeff and I first bought this house, and we didn't move in, we never moved in. We don't live here. This is not our house. But when we first started, moving stuff in to make it our work house, there was things that I just knew I needed to fix. One of the things is we bought the furniture off of the previous owners, and that is because it is solid wood, it is custom made, and it is fantastic, but it is dated, very much so, and it made the room look very dark. And it's heavy furniture. Like, I don't mean heavy as in weight, although it is, but it's like this furniture is so well made, it's actually on wheels. And so like my dresser that's got a big mirror, it actually has wheels that they built into it. It's really amazing, amazing furniture, not something you would just trash and then decide to buy something else, because you would never get the quality. So I've been wanting to redo it. And for me, redoing furniture and painting is fine. I mean, like, if you see, I've got paint all over me right now, even. That's from another project that I'm working on. But I love to do that stuff. I have no problems with it. I don't necessarily love sanding. I don't necessarily like the prep of it. But if you don't prep things right, you're not going to have a good outcome, right? So you have to. But I found this stuff called Beyond Paint. And Beyond Paint doesn't need to be, you don't have to sand the furniture, apparently. Okay, I go into this with, we'll see, but worst case scenario is I would have to sand off that paint and do it, the way that I would normally do it with regular furniture kind of paint. But I thought, let me give this Beyond Paint a try. It was brilliant. It worked out so well. And I used soft gray, which at first I thought was a little blue, but once I got the right decorations in the bedroom, it really turned out fantastic. It's a beautiful finish. It has now been curing for 30 days, which is what they say to do, 30 days before you really abuse it, and now you can't even scratch it off. Let's see. Jeff is here. Hey.
Hi. Hey.
Hi.
Hi. I'm outside.
Of our house?
Nope. No.
Oh, if you, I'm like,
At work.
What? All right. So say hi to Jeff. Jeff is joining us live. He is
Hi,
at
everybody.
work. Yeah, he is at work. But I said, please come in. And I told him, I said, they're going to think I threw you in the pond.
Well, I was thinking if I had a room that looked like a basement and I could like tie myself up.
Oh, and shackle yourself, be like, uh-huh.
then do help me with Morse codes.
Morse code. Well, I'm sure you feel like that anyway after all these projects. So Jeff is on.
Cool.
So while Jeff is here, let me just finish that whole thing of what we have decided to do for our quality of life. Jeff works 7 days on, 7 days off. For the last 4 years, neither one of us has really been off a day unless we were away. And maybe even then we weren't, because I would do stuff on Facebook. He would, if he had a free minute, he would still do editing stuff. Basically, he would work his full-time job 7 days. While he was doing that, I was usually testing recipes, things like that, and working on Facebook and working on post and working on all that stuff. Then when he's off, 7 days straight, not every single day all the time, but most of the time, we were either filming or editing, period. End of conversation. So we have decided that I am only going to work when Jeff works. So when Jeff works, and not his hours, okay, because I'm not doing night shift, but because I don't know what would happen if I was trying to do recipe testing in the middle of the night. I got to have my sleep. But when he works, whether it's days or nights, that is when I'm doing salt and pepper stuff. Oh my God, I misread that, John. I misread that. Anyway, so 7 days I will be doing salt and pepper stuff. When he's on night shift, we will be starting to film videos when I have them ready. I'm in no rush. We're not rushing this. And then 7 days off, we are going home to Tennessee. I'm going to enjoy my greenhouse. I'm going to pick a project that we can get done in that 7 day stretch. Some probably will carry over. And we're going to pick one fun thing to do, just the two of us, or maybe with the dogs or something like that. Like we're talking about going to Pickwick Lake and doing a day out on the boat. That would be fun. Not our boat. We don't have a boat, but we'll rent a boat. So that's how the landscape's looking now. Now we have been in Corinth pretty much for the last month. And Jeff has been here with me, but it's because of the contractor stuff. I filled him in already about the contractor stuff.
Oh, nightmare.
Big time. But we're hoping it's going to turn around tomorrow, right? Get the roofer done. That's the most important part. Then I think everything else will fall into place. And I am looking at railings and figuring out how I can, they're screwed in. You just reverse the drill and unscrew, pop them off, cut the little spindles, screw them back on, right?
Yeah, cut them all the same size, so that's going to be easy.
Yeah. Oh, imagine that. And space them appropriately.
Same size, same angle, just go zip, 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 zip.
Yeah. So if it comes down to it, we're going to do it. We're going to do it ourselves because I'm not playing around anymore. We're getting this thing done before summer's over. Anyway, yeah. So John says you look after yourselves. We're doing, I think it's going well. Now that every night the bedroom's clean, I love that. I'm even been making the bed in the morning. Not every single one, because he's working night shift right now. Seems silly to make it for him to get back in it. But anyway, But we are, yeah, things are moving along. Nothing has really changed on the Google landscape that I can tell. Google is still acting weird. They're doing weird things on search now. A lot of AI stuff still, which I mean, it can be good and bad, but AI is only good. It only knows what we have all told it, right? So it pulls from all these different resources on the internet, people like me and other food bloggers and stuff. So you don't know what your recipe, where it's coming from or anything. So AI is still like, to me, like a big pain in the butt, but it is here to stay. I know that. But so things are just looking a little bit different with that. What else? What else is updated? So I did the painting of the furniture. So I did that. That turned out great. And I'm just about finished the bathroom remodel. Why don't you tell them what you think about that?
Looks great.
It took me, what, 2 years to get that wallpaper down?
Mm-hmm. It
Which
doesn't
seems
look.
great.
It no longer looks like 1970 in there.
Yeah, the wallpaper was a nightmare, and underneath the wallpaper was unprimed drywall. It was a mess, guys. So I finally got it all done. All the wallpaper down and everything, and then primed, painted, spackled, fixed, did this, did that. And now Jeff put up the mirror and put up the light. And I've got like a little sparkly kind of it's kind of girly, but it actually looks really good in that bathroom. So that's getting done. And then what's our project for home this next week?
The garage.
The garage. So we're doing the garage, and Jeff did the garage here, which looks fantastic, and the shed, and we organized our tools. That means when long construction puts the shingle out, we know where to go and get our stuff. Funny. And I also bought this electric, like I'm a big gas powered tool girl, right? Well, I was until I got older and they're heavier, right? So I've got, what would you call those things, Jeff, that I got to knock down the shrubs and stuff? What are those called?
What, hedge trimmers?
Hedge trimmers, yeah. So I bought an electric hedge trimmer, and I got the highest, is it voltage, watts, voltage, amps,
Amps is the power it
amps.
produces.
Yeah. So I got the highest amps that I could. And man, I went crazy out there like Edward Scissorhands the other day. I was just taking all these shrubs. They are so overgrown out front. So we fired our landscaping guy too. Not that that was his responsibility. It wasn't, because the astronomical amount of money he wants to charge us to do that was crazy. So Jeff and I have been cutting the grass, which I kind of like. It's easier to do it here than in Bethel Springs. So anyway, okay, John, I think somebody, maybe Brittany's saying goodbye to John. I know John is going to be popping off here too. So just in case, I haven't really been reading too many comments. Crystal's got a good positive thing to say about AI. There's an app called Be My Eyes. And you can take a picture of something and it'll tell you what it is. Yes, that would be a good thing. Bye, Brittany. Now, help us with your house. Oh, I see. I thought you were moving, Brittany. I was like, you're not moving, are you? Anyway, well, Jeff loves Arizona, so anytime you want to talk to us about flying out to Arizona, he'll be right on it. All right, so what's new in your world, Mr. Long?
Nothing. Work.
Have you been? But you haven't been flying much, and why? Shh. Why haven't you been flying?
Because the weather is horrible.
Because it rains every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable.
It's flyable now, so who knows? We might get something tonight.
Yeah, you might. Or it might start thunderstorming. Hey, Aaron, how are you? All right, guys. Do you have any questions for either one of us? I'll stay on here a little bit longer, and then I'm going to go make dinner and all that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to pop in and say hi because I miss you guys a lot. And I miss being live. I miss it and I don't miss it. Let's put it that way. I miss interacting with everybody quite a bit. Aaron, George is doing great. I mentioned this earlier in the video, but I'll just do a little recap. He is doing fantastic. As soon as the animals, his brother and sister, well, two sisters, one brother, came back here, and Jeff, because Jeff was staying at one house, I was staying here because we needed to keep them separated. But George was getting depressed. So once we brought everybody back, he started making recovery like leaps and bounds. He can now do steps by himself, but we stay with him just to make sure. But in a couple weeks, he should be on his own, just doing up and down, up and down. Barbara says we both look more relaxed, which is good to see. Yeah, well, when the pressure's off, and the pressure's been off, and that makes a world of difference. I mean, when you don't have deadlines, editing deadlines, recipe deadlines, this deadline, that deadline, and you can just kind of go with the flow and take naps if you want to, it's definitely needed. And I also want to say to a couple people, I can name two people off the top of my head. Don't be offended if I don't name you and you fall in this category. I was overwhelmed with emails after I did the last live saying I'm taking a break from YouTube and stuff like that. Overwhelmed. And there were so many wonderful emails. I got back to some people and I have not gotten back to others. And the only reason is because I need to, they're so thoughtful and so kind. And I want to be in the right frame of mind as I'm responding to each person. So Joni, I know I haven't gotten back to you. And then a person who I just was telling Jeff the other day, I feel so guilty about is Carrick. Carrick, we met in Australia. Wonderful, wonderful person. We loved our visit with him. And he emailed asking for a picture that we had all taken together and just following up after our meeting. And I still haven't gotten back to him. And I feel terrible about it. But I love you, Carrick. And Joni, too. I love you, too. And I definitely will be. I've just been doing it like little bits at a time. So, all right. What else, Jeff?
I want to say hi to Barkley. I saw he popped in.
Oh, hey, Barkley.
And everybody else that I didn't say hi to. I'm getting bit by mosquitoes, so I'm going to probably jump off of here.
Okay.
You're handling it pretty well by yourself here.
Well, I don't know. Hey, Debbie. Say hi to Debbie.
Debbie.
Debbie Skolkowski.
Oh, hey, Debbie.
Yeah. All right. All right. Jeff is going
All right,
off.
back to my dungeon.
Okay. Back to your dungeon. Make sure you lock yourself up tight.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
Right. Love
Good
you.
to see everybody.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay. All right. So Jeff is alive and well. All right. Yes, Crystal, I'm definitely going to do videos. And I've missed them, and I've been thinking about some to do. Oh, the other thing that I was able to do, which I've been trying to do for a couple years now, not aggressively though, but in my mind, it's been in my mind, is to recreate my carrot cake recipe. Because I did a carrot cake recipe, and I mean, baking it can be a basic recipe, but I like certain spices and a certain flavor to my carrot cake. And I don't like it to be too sweet. It has to be super moist though, and it's got to be flavorful, but not overpowering, right? So I had the perfect recipe, all fleshed out. Made it for my friend's wedding when I did her wedding cake. Made it several times after that, and sometime in moving from Maryland to Tennessee, moving computers, moving things like that, upgrading, I've lost the recipe. Totally lost it. So I tried a few times to recreate it, and it was just never the same. But I am happy to say that I just did one, and it was delicious. So I just have to test it a few more times, and that's going to be a recipe I'm going to get out because everybody loves carrot cake. Well, most people anyway. I don't put nuts in my carrot cake, and I sometimes put raisins, but I didn't in my first test. I think I'll put them in the second test, but it'll be an optional ingredient. But what I did, which I really enjoyed on this carrot cake, is it was a 4-tier carrot cake. So I made 2 8-inch rounds, which after they cooled and popped them out, I cut them in half. So we had 4 layers that had the cream cheese icing inside, which I also don't make too sweet because I don't like that. what was I saying? Oh, I made candied pecans and they turned out so nice. I put them around the base of the cake and it really added that like crunch to what is typically a soft and kind of a dense cake. I mean, carrot cake can be kind of dense, although it should not be dry, but it can be a little dense. It's a heavy cake. Um, it really turned out nice. So I'm really pleased with that. Um, Aaron, you haven't missed anything. I haven't done any. I haven't done any lives since um I was in Australia. And oh, and one when I came back. So you haven't missed anything. I haven't done them. I've been on break. Crystal, thank you. Thank you. I will. I absolutely will. Um, Michael says, be yourself, take care of yourself. Health is your wealth. That's right. That's right. That's right. Something we kind of take for granted, you know. I also have learned a lot about just sometimes it's just better to walk away from something, even for 30 minutes or an hour, right? Instead of pushing through. If I like, I've got this like thing. If I go into the kitchen and I make one thing and it doesn't turn out the way I expected it to, I'm done for the day because nothing else is going to turn out either. Or if I go in there and I'm starting to drop measuring spoons right and left because I've got the dropsies these days, I'm done. You know, so those are just things like I'm just learning that if my body says don't do it right now, I don't do it right now. So like the other day, I really wanted to get the bathroom done, something in the bathroom, like I think I was doing the second coat of paint, which requires cutting in and then rolling. And I ended up, and I'm so short, like I'm either up on a ladder, some I can stand just normal, and then I'm on the floor. So it's up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, right? And I felt a cramp coming on in my foot, which I've been getting quite frequently. And I was like, no, I'm done. I'm going to walk this off and then I'm done because I'm not going to push my body to the point where it is going to start fighting me back. And that's what it's been doing. So definitely when listen to yourself, listen to your body, you know, take rest when you need to. Colleen, good to see you as always. And we'll catch up soon. And I'll probably wait a couple more weeks before I do another live. But I do have a question because this 7 days, 7 off thing is going to screw up Tasty Tuesdays. George, that's a good point. I do want to touch on the Ninja recall because I should. I definitely need to talk about that. But as far as Tasty Tuesdays go, we always did Tasty Tuesdays on a Tuesday. Imagine that. And we did them when Jeff is off work because we can't do them when Jeff is at work because if he's working day shift, he's not home until after 7 o'clock. If he's working night shift, he leaves by like 6. So I'm trying to decide what's going to be best. We are either going to have to move Tasty Tuesdays to when he's on day shift and plan it for 7:30 and hope he doesn't get a late flight, or we are going to have to do like something else and not call it Tasty Tuesdays, call it like in the kitchen with Louise and Jeff and do it 3 o'clock on a night that he goes to work at night or something like that. So if you guys have any opinions on that, please let me know. We do want to do a cooking thing though. And now the other option that we can do, and I haven't really talked to Jeff about this because it would include having some lights at home, but I'm thinking that we could also maybe do it from our house in Tennessee because we will be there on Tuesdays when we're not when Jeff's not working. I hope that makes sense. But we might be in the middle of a project. So I hate the idea of breaking a rule before the rule even starts to get fleshed out. And when I say rule, it's loose rules. But we're supposed to be off when Jeff is off so that we can focus on our family and focus on all the stuff we need to do because owning 2 houses, there's a lot to do. It's duplicate of everything, right? It's crazy. Okay, so let's talk about the Ninja recall. I don't remember the date, but it's been a couple weeks now, I think, where Ninja voluntarily recalled the pressure lids on some of the older models. These are the 2 lid models. These are only on the 6.5 quart, not the 8 quart. So if you have the 8 quart, you're not involved. If you have the 6.5 quart One lid, you're not involved. If you have the 6.5 quart and you are in the US or Canada, and I don't think they've extended it anywhere else, US, Canada, you may be involved. And when I say 2 lid, what I mean is you have a separate pressure lid, and then the crisping lid is what kind of stands up when you're using the pressure lid, right? For whatever you're using it for. So they recalled them. And the process for most was pretty seamless. You filled out a little form, and then I know within a couple hours I got an email. Within 2 days, I got the new lid. I have not personally tried it out yet. There are a couple people that have tried it out. A couple people have had some problems, so I want to bring that up. One lady, her lid cracked. Unacceptable, going under pressure. Obviously, the lid cracked, so pressure, steam is released immediately. It's not like it blew off, but it cracked. But still, that's the recalled lid. That's the new lid, right? So big problem there for Ninja. Big problem. She's still trying to get that rectified. She's in our Ninja Foodie group, and she's keeping us updated. She called Ninja customer service, which I will tell you this. Think of them like my contractor who built my porch. They don't know what they're doing, period. They are reading from a script. They are probably using AI to tell them what to say. I don't know. That was kind of a joke, but they don't know what they're doing. So if you get some asinine answer like this lady did, just use your old lid. Now, keep in mind, this old lid's recalled. They make you not sign, but you're initialing it. So essentially, you're signing that you will not use that old lid again. And then your new lid cracks when you try to do the pressure test. And then they tell you to use the old lid. No, that's a no. That's a no. That's a no. So Ninja's in a little bit of shit right now, I'm telling you, because of the way they're handling this. Most of the recalls have gone seamlessly. But these little bit of issues have me a little concerned. Another couple of people, handful of people have had issues with their new lid not sealing properly. Again, that's a problem because if it doesn't seal, it's not going to go under pressure. So I'm a little concerned about that. I'm following it closely, obviously. I welcome any feedback that you guys have from your personal experience. I think somebody did just, Robin's saying that she sent a claim in and I've never heard back from Ninja, never received a new lid. That's interesting. You should have gotten an email right away. I would try it again. Honestly, Robin. And then somebody said something about, oh, look, Juliet says tasty time. We'll do tasty time. There we go. And it doesn't have to be a Tuesday. Tasty time. Oh, great. I'm going to think about that. That's funny. I like that. So anyway, UK is not involved in the recall. Australia is not involved in the recall. Canada, US, I believe, are the only 2 countries right now in this recall. And it was a voluntary one. A lot of people are speculating that it happened because of a lawsuit. Probably. There are several lawsuits where people were having issues where their lid could open. Right? Now, I read a lot of the lawsuits. And I kind of understand how the Ninja Foodie works. And I kind of understand how people cook. And I also have read a lot of comments when the Ninja Foodie first came out about what people were doing that they shouldn't have been doing. And nobody wanted to listen to me, of course, because, anytime you tell somebody, don't do it that way, don't do that, you're nosing in their business. So a couple people have done some things that they shouldn't have done. Never press down the pin to open up the lid or to speed up the pressure release process. Never do that. If anyone did that, you can easily open the lid, right? Okay. I think at some point we have to use some common sense. Just don't do that. The pot's under pressure. Don't do that. Were there some faulty lids? I wasn't in the courtroom. I have no idea if some of them just blew off, but I've looked at the design of it and if it's latched right, I just don't see how it could just blow off because it should be locked in. Metal to metal. Now, I'm not even talking about the pin or anything else. Metal to metal, it should be locked in. But again, I wasn't there. I don't know. The only thing I know is I haven't had any issues with mine at all, but I haven't tried the new lid. I'm going to have to do that. So, well, George, George is saying he's surprised to hear about Ninja support. Well, it's not that they're being bad about doing the warranty claims and the recalls. They're being it's I think that's going pretty well. But the problem is you have to know um what to listen to them about when it comes to customer service because I mean it just doesn't make sense. Don't use your old lid. So you get the new lid, you put that on, it cracks, you call them, they say, use your old lid. I mean, obviously, that makes no sense. And I told the lady to call them back. That is absolutely unacceptable. Um, right. And George, his claim was a warranty claim because his pressure pin wasn't machined correctly. And that can happen with certain runs of things. I mean, like, you know, when you're doing these things through factories, there are certain things that can go wrong for sure. But that's all I know about the recall so far. I don't know anything else about it. You know, you can look up the lawsuits online, you can read through them. There's some that I'm like, oh, okay, I bet this is what happened. Um, and some I clearly don't know what happened, right? So you can always look at that. Now, personally, I think pressure cooking is still safer in the electric pressure cookers than the old time stovetop ones because there's more ability to regulate temperatures and things like that. But and that's all built in. We don't do that ourselves. But yeah, it's I just think they're still safer. I have no problems using mine. I'm not going to stop pressure cooking. I'm not going to stop doing pressure cooker recipes either. However, I don't know how many Ninja Foodie recipes I will be doing in the future. And that is just simply because you cannot find them anymore. So I've got so many recipes on my website already. You can pretty much make anything you want if you already have a Ninja Foodie based on those recipes. So I just don't know what the demand will be moving forward since you can't even buy them. Thought about getting an Instapot Duo Crisp, which I had one before I didn't like at all. I didn't like it at all. Like I did a review on it. I People said I was biased towards the Ninja. I wasn't. There was things I did not like about it. They have improved. So I might buy one, but they're hard to find now too. Why is that? I don't know. They've been sued too, but it's just not as in the news as Ninja, but they've been sued. Instant Pot's been sued plenty of times too for the same kinds of things. Any appliance company, any manufacturer um, has been sued plenty of times. So how they handle it is really the key for me. And there's plenty of recalls on things. I mean, there was a blender recall, a Ninja blender recall, because the blades were so sharp they cut people. Come on. I hope we're not putting our hand in the blender, right? But yeah, a recall because the blades were so sharp. So now we have dull blades, right? So we can't do things as effectively as we used to be able to do. But anyway, I'm being a little snarky right now because some of these lawsuits are ridiculous. But anyway, here we go. So, anything else? I don't know anything else to say about the recall. I'm glad they did it. I'm glad people can get the new lids. I just wish they were all working correctly. And and I hope people still use their Ninja Foodies because hands down, it is still the best small kitchen appliance that's ever been invented, in my opinion. The pressure cooker, air crisper, all the functions. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Um, I've been using my freeze dryer quite a bit, and I love that too. But that's not for everybody. That's not like a small kitchen appliance. That is a major investment. And I would only recommend it for people who have like a huge garden, who want to do a lot of storage, you know, food for storage. I don't really do the food for storage type of thing. I'm doing it more for prep and also photographs. So like sometimes I will make a batch of barbecue sauce, let's say. But I make the barbecue sauce, I start testing out whatever recipe I need it for. By the time I flesh out that recipe and get it all done, that barbecue sauce is either gone or expired. Like it needs to, you know, go in the trash because it will get moldy even in the fridge. So I have to make a new batch when I'm ready to do the photo or ready to do something else. And I'm like, no, I don't. Because I can take half of that batch, freeze dry it, have it in powder form. And when I need it for that drizzle on the ribs or I need it for, you know, a little taste test, I can just reconstitute with a little bit of water. And there we go. I've got homemade barbecue sauce. I've done it with my marinara sauce and I just did it with tomato soup. which I pressure cooked the tomato soup, by the way. It was the best, like 10-minute tomato soup ever. I loved it. So I think I'm going to put that recipe on the website too. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. So Jolene's saying, when I worked at McDonald's many, many years ago, there was a recall on the color changing straws because people were flipping out because they were changing colors and thought they were getting poisoned. Oh my gosh. That's funny. That's really funny. 5-minute bagel pizzas sound good, George. Sound good. Did you ever get that ice cream? Was it eggnog ice cream? Did you ever get that flushed out? I know you were doing a lot of research on that. So Betty, yeah, the dehydrator. I used to use that a lot too, but the freeze dryer I like even more than the dehydrator. But tomatoes are amazing, as are onions. Yes. And the other day I was making something just for myself, not a recipe, because I can't really do this with a recipe. It doesn't work. But I didn't have any onions. So I grabbed some freeze-dried onions, threw it in there. It was going to pressure cook. They were going to reconstitute. They were going to flavor the dish just fine. Turned out great. Perfect. All right, guys. Any other questions real quick before I bid you farewell? And then I have to heat up my dinner. Crystal saying if I just want to do the Q&As for a while, do some kind of cooking. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Figuring it out what's best for us, for our quality of life, to have one, because we haven't had one in a long time. We need to have quality. Everybody needs to have a quality of life. John, you take your time, my dear. Take your time. John, I did mean to tell you, though, and I don't remember if I told you this, I did do my first batch of that seeded flour mix. So I made bread. It wasn't as good as what you can get there, but I'm just going to keep practicing, right? Betty, thank you so much. Hey, Bonnie. All right, so Beth's asking if I've heard the pressure cookers are being discontinued. Not officially. I've not heard that, but it's pretty obvious because they're not available. It used to be that it was the one lid models that were they just disappeared from Ninja's site. They disappeared from, you could get them at some retailers, but once they sold out of their stock, now they're really hard to find. But also the 2 lid models are now hard to find, which is the older models. So yeah, I don't know. What's interesting, Beth, is that, and something I'm paying attention to, but I have no knowledge of, is whether or not Instant Pot is backing off of their Duo Crisp pressure cooker models, which the Duo Crisp, there's a Duo Crisp and another one, and I don't remember the name of it, but they're like the Ninja Foodie in the fact that they have an air fryer lid and a pressure cook abilities. There was one that I found that I really wanted to get, and I can no longer find it, and that's Instant Pot brand, and I can't find it. So it's like weird. Are they pulling back from that dual model? I don't know. I don't think Instant Pot's pulling back from electric pressure cookers because we can still find those all over the place. But yeah, I really don't know. I think it's important to keep in mind that with cooking appliances, they ebb and flow and ebb back again and flow back out the door again. So like pressure cooking became pretty big again after it took a break from the home type of pressure canners and pressure cookers that our moms and grandmoms used, and some of us used too, that were stovetop versions. They're a little different. Same principles, but just a little different of operation. They have weights on them that you can weight differently and stuff like that, or some of them did anyway. They kind of went out of style. Nobody was using pressure cookers. Thought they were very dangerous. They saw, mom's top blow off of her pressure cooker or whatever. So nobody was using pressure cookers. Then Instant Pot came into the picture with the electric pressure cooker, and it got very popular again. And then, of course, the Ninja Foodie came out with the pressure cooker air crisper, and that, I think, really just set the pressure cooking thing on fire because air fryers were already popular. Now we can do both. And that became extremely popular, as you know. Now, what is becoming popular right now is cooking with steam. And steam has always been popular. Sous vide is also becoming popular. Little different than cooking with steam, but kind of along the same principle. But it's a very controlled environment there with the sous vide. With steam, we are just basically cooking the food with steam. That's when Ninja came out with the Ninja Combi. There's also this there's steam ovens. There is the sous vide oven thing that is steam based, I'm pretty sure, because you don't submerge your food in liquid, so it's not true sous vide, but it's called the sous vide oven, I think. So now it seems like steam is picking up steam. Like it's what's, ebbing, and it's a very healthy way of cooking. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Very healthy. So and I love cooking with steam. I think it's a great option, but it's a little more difficult to get the Maillard reaction with the browning effect like we do with some other types of cooking. Somebody said that they got a Possible Cooker Pro earlier, and I sort of moved past that, but I love mine. I know there's a lot of mixed reviews on it, but I absolutely love mine. I probably use it more than the Ninja Foodie now. And that's weird because the Ninja Foodie, I would say, is still my go-to. And Jeff cooked all of his meals when I was here rehabbing George, and he was there in Tennessee. He made all of his meals in the Ninja Foodie pressure cooker and air crisper. He used slow cook a lot, though. He likes that. Anyway, so steam seems to be a big thing now, and that's good. We can cook with anything, guys. We don't need appliances to cook. We can cook with anything. You just really need to know the basics, which is going to lead me to one other thing that I'm seriously thinking about doing, probably towards the end of the summer when people aren't so busy, is doing a back to basics with Louise. And this goes into real basic stuff. So it's not for everybody, but if you don't know how to make a bechamel sauce, it's a good thing to know how to do. If you don't know why your sauce breaks, it's probably back to basics is a good way to go. Just learning those basic things, the fundamentals of cooking, because they are the building blocks that you can then build on and do anything you want. Like bread making. Once you know the basics, are you going to make the most beautiful loaf every single time? Maybe not. Are you going to make good bread that people will love? Yeah, most likely. So once you know the basics of that, it's easy. Everything's easy when you know the basics. Building a deck is easy when you know the basics. Sorry, baby. Once we know the basics, we can build on that and experiment and be comfortable with experimenting. So I really would like to do something like that. It would probably be workshops, probably interactive a little bit, but also some pre-recorded stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. Stuff that I would like to get out there, though, and for people who are interested. Obviously, it won't be for everybody, because if you know how to do all those things already, you'll probably be bored to tears. But anyway, if you don't, you might want to. Like simple things, too, like, I say simple things. I don't know that they're that simple, but I think they're simple. It's like understanding the density of food, understanding the viscosity of food, and how that's going to change the timing when you're slow cooking. That's a big thing I see all the time in my in my Possible Cooker group, is people are saying, oh, this cooked so fast, it just boiled the meat. Well, what was the viscosity of the liquid that you used? Because you can control that, right? You can change the way heat transfers by changing things about what you're cooking and how you're cooking it. If you want it to cook faster, use a thinner broth. If you want it to cook slower and not boil so much, you're going to use something thicker when we're slow cooking. So little things like that. You just kind of learn over time, and they're science-based, so I'm not making it up, right? It's heat transfer. Anyway, yes, George, basics are always good. Methods evolve over time, meaning you can never stop learning. That's right. In fact, one of the things, and I don't think it was you, George, but I know it was somebody, I think they might be in the UK. They convinced me to do cold fried French fries. Everything in my body and mind said, I am not putting raw potatoes in cold oil. That is going to be the most disgusting thing ever. Those french fries need to hit that hot oil and start to sear off immediately. Otherwise, the potato is going to absorb way too much of that grease and it's going to be gross. I was 100% wrong. 100%. Those were the best fries. I made them on a Tasty Tuesday one night. And I need to do a video on those too, just to kind of get the word out more. I didn't invent this technique, obviously, but just to get more people doing it because it is brilliant. It works perfectly. Love it. Mars, they can't make it out of our atmosphere without exploding. I don't know what that means, Gail. I might be behind the times or something. Mars. Maybe I missed something. Anyway. Yeah, George, they blew my mind too. Yes, I knew that, Jefferson. Yes, I knew that. I don't remember what it is though, to be honest. But there's also what the is it Pip and Squeak or Bubbles and Squeak? What is that? I can't remember now. I thought these are the funniest names. And then Bangers and Mash. I have a recipe for that. Bangers and Mash is delicious, though. I wish I could get better sausages here in the U.S., but they're still delicious. Anyway, okay, Betty's saying this is Kathy Mitchell week. I don't know who Kathy Mitchell is, but ordered an electric omelet maker to use. Got my one express. It was amazing and missed having one. An electric omelet maker. Awesome. Awesome. I don't make omelets that much, and I really should. I love eggs. I don't know why. Maybe because they don't have any chickens anymore, which we are putting on hold. That's another thing I can tell you guys. We've decided we just have too much going on right now. So we are going to do chickens next spring, not this year. We were going to do a bunch this year, but Jeff's having issues with his foot too. I don't think I've ever mentioned that. I hope he doesn't get mad at me for mentioning it, but I don't think he will. So he's been like, even when we were in Australia, he had to take a boot with him. They thought it was plantar fasciitis, but I don't know if it is or isn't. He's had a second opinion now because now they're kind of hinting around for surgery. We're really hoping that's not the case. So staying off of his feet, not filming, has been better for him. But of course, I am keeping him busy around the house. But he gets to down, take breaks. A little different than filming videos. But yeah, I don't know why I even brought that up, but there was reason why I brought that up. I don't remember now. But anyway, yeah. So Jeff's having some foot issues. We're getting old. That's all I can say. We're getting old. Bubble and Squeak. Yeah, that's so funny. Especially since I had a cat named Bubbles and a cat named Squeak. I forget what it is. Hi, CB. Hi, Deanna. How are you? I'm gonna have to try that out because I like cabbage and mashed potatoes and onions and all that stuff. So I'll have to try that out. I think it is a leftover dish, right? Yeah. Did I eat any weird things in Australia like kangaroo? We ate kangaroo. Trying to remember where and when. I got to be honest, guys. Australia's a blur. We went from place to place to place to place to place, and we got it all on film. So anything we ate, it was videotaped. But we just still have to go through and get all the footage out. But I don't remember what kind of kangaroo we ate. I mean, when I say that, I mean like how it was prepared. I don't remember, but I know we ate it. But nothing else really weird. I had some delicious things though. One thing I want to recreate, and I haven't even started yet, because I have to go to Sam's Club to get the butter because I have to use European butter. And European butter, local grocery stores, is outrageous, but I can get it in bulk at Sam's. And I'm going to probably need a lot because I don't know what I'm doing with this recipe. But it is the best. Let's call it like a croissant, but not. A pinwheel, but not. It it is a croissant kind of pastry dough. Well, or it's not. See how little I know about this? But it had an olive oil taste to it more than a butter taste. And it had sun-dried or regular tomatoes. See how much I know about this. Anyway, I ate it a couple times in Australia. It was the best thing I've ever eaten in my life. So, so good. And I want to really try to recreate it. So no haggis, George. No. Oh, but I did eat, and I'm going to say it wrong. Laguna tongue. Okay. Beef tongue. I think it is beef tongue. In tacos here in Corinth when I got back. I didn't eat this in Australia. When I got back, I wanted to try it. And this place does, I think, pretty authentic. Well, they changed owners. Now I don't think it's very authentic, but it used to be where their tacos were really, really good. And authentic, served with the radishes and, basically soft corn tortillas and stuff like that. And the meat was very flavorful. So I thought I'm going to try it there. It's not for me. No, I don't like it. Now I went to a Russian restaurant. I was going to say, who are the people that drink vodka? I went to a Russian restaurant and we had tongue. I loved it. But it was weird the way they shaved it thin. You could see all the taste buds in it, but the flavor was fantastic. It's a little livery, but the flavor was fantastic. I love that. To me, it was like eating filet mignon, but with a little livery taste. But this Mexican taco that I had, I didn't like it at all. Now, will I try to make it myself? At Sam's Club, they have it. I've almost bought it like 5 times, but I'm scared. Honest to God, I am. But I understand that pressure cooking it is a good way to do it. Yeah, Julia, that's what I had, a tongue taco. Laguna or I can't say it. And I'm making a fool of myself. So I don't remember how you pronounce it. But anyway, I will definitely have to learn that before I do a video on it, right? But yeah, I didn't like it. But I want to like it. So I like liver, chicken livers, liver and onions with mashed potatoes. Yeah. Breaded, pan fried. Love it. Mom used to make it all the time. For me, everybody else hated it, but I liked it. It's my favorite thing. With peas, must have peas. So you lightly bread the chicken livers, you fry them in oil, put your onions in, you make your onion gravy, you cook your chicken livers and so that they're nice and tender, and then you serve them with mashed potatoes and peas. Must have peas. No tongue ever. Okay. George is a negative on the tongue. Not doing that. Okay. Maybe mix beef liver with beef tongue. I think they're 2 separate things, but I don't think I've ever had beef liver, to be honest with you. Chicken livers is what I grew up on. I don't think I've ever had beef liver. I should make it though. George. I don't know. Every time I go to say Jeff, I'm saying George. Jeff won't eat it. I've tried to get him to like chicken livers. He won't eat it. Okay, so Mary says, Mom, with pressure cooked tongue, you peel the tongue skin off before eating. That's like that's to me as gross as clipping chicken toenails. And I understand that chicken feet is one of the best things that you can put in your chicken stock, when you're making homemade. I understand all of that. I understand the collagen. I understand the benefits. I've had chickens. Yeah, I'm not clipping their toenails and I'm not cutting off their feet and I'm not putting them in anything. Sorry. It's just one of those things I cannot do. Nope, not doing it. Not doing it. But yeah, you're supposed to clip their little toe. Oh, no, not doing it. First of all, I'm not killing any of my chickens for food. So there's that, right? I'm not doing that either. So yeah, ixnay on the chicken feet. No, not for me. Pig's feet, not doing that either. No. But beef tongue, I will. I will try it. George, yes, pâté. Liver is good for pâté, but really it should be a certain kind of liver from a young goose, and they don't do that anymore. Or duck. It's faux pas. We don't do that. We don't have that kind of liver anymore. So, but it is the best liver. I've tried to recreate liver pate because the potted kind, the canned kind, is horrific, if you ask me. And I've been trying to make air fryer beef Wellington for how many years now, George? About 3. But I cannot get this liver pate correct. And I'm not going to make beef Wellington without liver pate, even though I know 99.9% of people will leave it off. I'm not doing it. It's got to have all that stuff. I am going to skip the pancake wrap though, because I like prosciutto a little better. But you've got to counterbalance the salt. So if you're making your pate, you got to really account for the prosciutto. But anyway, tripe, no. Mm-mm. No, no. Jeff asked me that the other day if I would eat tripe. No, mm-mm. No, mm-mm. No, no. Nope, nope, nope. I've gone what almost 55 years without it, and I think I'm fine. No, George, no. Okay, now this is one I'm not sure. This live is taking a turn, but I love that. I absolutely love that. I mean, where could you really talk about beef tongue, haggis, liver pate, um, baked heart on a Facebook live stream uh, on a Tuesday evening? Like, who does this, right? I think it's great. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, beef heart baked in oven with stuffing. When you raise beef, you eat it. I have nothing against that, but I do have some questions, Mary. And okay, I'm gonna get a little nursey here. Okay. So I was an oncology nurse, and that's cancer, if you don't know. And there was a guy who had skin cancer, and he let it go too long, and he actually it ate through to his heart. Okay, so when we did his dressing changes, we could see his heart beating and everything. Now that's a human. Okay, I have never seen, um, an animal heart. Okay. So once you kill the animal, I want to know how you're stuffing this heart. That's what I want to know. Like, you bleed it out, obviously. I know that. I'm not that stupid. But then, like, it's a strange looking thing, the heart. So I want to know more information. What do you stuff it with? Where are you stuffing it? Do you just like butterfly it? Stuff it and then bake it? And then, I mean, it's a muscle. Um, I'm very interested in this, but I don't know if I could do it. But I'm not against anybody who eats anything. Like, you do whatever you want to do with food. I'm not one of those people that says, "Ugh, gross." I may not do it, but you can certainly do it. Um, so yeah, I'm really interested though. Very interested, Mary, in hearing a little bit more about that. Um, So I know a lot of people eating beef, elk, and deer heart raw. Why? Well, I have read and seen and heard, and whether it's true or not, I don't know, because some of it's on our TV. So who knows if that's true or not? But I think that, like, for younger people, maybe it's their first kill or something like that when they're hunting. It's just a rite of passage kind of thing. And I understand, like, the symbolism behind it too, because to take a life, you want to honor that life. And we're talking about animals, not people. We don't kill people. We don't eat people, hopefully. Oh, good Lord. Now we're going down another road. Yeah, we don't eat people. Okay. So yeah, so it's a just way of honoring. You want to honor that animal that is now feeding you and your family, and that would be by harvesting every bit of it, so you don't throw things away, and you do eat every part of it. Now, I have never done that, but I'm not a hunter. I don't hunt animals, So if I did, I probably would. I would certainly find a use for it. But I would have a hard time eating a raw heart. I will be honest with you, but Juliet says, "Can't hear you." La 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 la. I know. What a weird conversation. We've really gone down a weird road tonight, guys. Beef heart stuff with that? No, no, no. Well, but you have to put a thin layer of Vegemite on top, George. I mean, we can't forget that, and then stuff it between two sourdough pieces of bread, right? Oh, speaking of sourdough, let me just tell you that my sourdough starter was put in the refrigerator before I went to Australia. I fed it heftily. Okay, so I gave it a good feeding, put it in the fridge. It was perfect when I got back 5 weeks later. And I didn't even touch it probably for 7 weeks, to be honest with you, 6 or 7 weeks, because of all the other stuff that was going on. I just didn't have time. It came back beautifully. And now I'm working on my high hydration sourdough bread. I don't measure anything, guys. So I don't measure sourdough. I don't measure bread. I don't measure flour, water. I don't weigh it out. I don't even do that for my starter. Like I just totally go by looks. That's what I want to teach people if they want to learn that way because it's so much easier. It's less of a hassle. But you can run into some problems. Like I ran into a little bit of problem with my starter being a little acidic. But I fixed that by giving it a little bit more of the flour feedings, and we fixed it and got it to where I thought this is good. Let's do a high hydration dough. Oh my goodness, it's the best sour loaf that I've ever baked, ever. I did it in the oven. I burned the top though. I was so mad at myself. This is where ADD comes in. I set the oven, forgot to set the timer. Knew I wanted to start out high and crank the temp down a little bit after it had gotten its oven spring and all that stuff. I left it on high too long, the high temperature, and it burned the top. Didn't even matter. I've made grilled cheese with it. It's perfect. Toast, it's perfect. You can thick cut it, but because it is so airy, it holds your whatever you want to put on it. It holds it, but you can bite right through it. It is the best bread I've ever made in my life, and certainly the best sourdough. And it's so easy to do. It takes all day though, just so you know. But you don't have to do everything. You don't have to do things with it all day, but you do have to be there in the morning to mix it up. You do have to be there at night to shape it and then put it in the refrigerator for overnight ferment. But it's delicious. So worth it. Hey Barb, how are you? Um, Anyway, so yeah, so I've been playing around with bread quite a bit. Um, I, it turned cold and rainy on me. It was warm, sunny. Well, no, it rains every day in Mississippi, but it was sunnier and warmer, and I was getting some really great rises when I fed my starter. The past 3 days has been very humid, and all of this makes a difference. Very humid and very chilly. And my starter has not risen as much as I wanted it to. So I haven't made another loaf, but that's on my list tomorrow. In fact, I'm going to feed that little baby tonight. Oh, great, Val. Val made the baked beans on my website and everyone raved over them. Did you put those little tiny red beans in or did you leave them out? A lot of people have problems with them not tenderizing. And I've had some batches that do tenderize and some that don't. So very, very odd with that, the little red tiny beans. But I kind of like the change in the texture between the softer navy beans and these slightly firmer little red beans. I like that. But of course, nobody wants to bite into a hard bean. We're not talking about that. So I'm interested if your beans softened, but I'm glad everybody liked them. I have tried to recreate that recipe by using canned beans, and I've tried to do it in the combi. I cannot do it. I cannot get it right. There's something about the pressure cooking those beans from dry to create the starch as the base and adding in those ingredients and pressure cooking it. There's something magical about that recipe. I think it's the best baked beans ever, too. And I can't recreate it with another method of cooking so far. I could probably do low and slow in the oven. That would probably work, but that is a good recipe. Oh, good. Okay, I'm glad. So Val did use the red beans and they worked. Another thing that I wanted to share if I can remember it now. I did a recipe 2 ways. One was pressure cooked, and one I was trying to convert, I think, to the Possible Cooker Pro. And I told my friend Amber about this, and I don't remember which recipe it was, to be honest. Both were good. One is already on my website, I think. Both were good, but the pressure cooker version had 10 times more flavor than the other version. And it was so obvious to me that I was like, they always say that pressure cooking infuses flavor, and it can make some sense of why the seasonings will get a little bit deeper into the meat and things like that. But let me tell you, it was my pot roast. It was my pot roast recipe. So when I pressure cooked that pot roast, and use the seasonings that are on my website, this time I did a slow cooker version, and I used the same ingredients. I kind of tweaked them a little bit for slow cooking, but essentially the seasoning should have been spot on the same. Totally different outcome. Now the meat was perfectly cooked, but it needed lots of salt. It was totally different than my pressure cooked version. So, lesson learned. Pressure cooking does infuse those flavors, and I know firsthand for sure that is the truth. So now I've got to amp up the salt in this. I've got to figure out a way to make the seasonings get more into the meat, because it was deliciously tender and all that kind of stuff, but it just didn't taste. It just wasn't my pot roast, right? So I've got to fix that a little bit. Anyway. All right, guys. Well, you've hung in here with me for a little over an hour. Does anybody have any last minute questions or anything like that? I will answer them, and then I will hang up the phone and get offline and heat up my dinner and go to bed, right? Because that's what I do. Yeah, Barb, I am agreeing 100%. Pot roast is always the best in a pressure cooker. Yeah. The best roast. Do you know the name of it? Do they tell you what cut it is? I'm curious. I always use a chuck roast for my pot roast. I need to work on the burnt ends. It's usually done by brisket, but I'm going to work on it with chuck roast. I tried one time, long time ago, and I wasn't too thrilled, but I'm going to try it. You got to get a really well marbled, fatty chuck roast, though, I think, to make it work. But yeah, what kind of meat? I'd love to know. Anyway, I think somebody, Barbara says she doesn't know, but it's round and thick. That's interesting. Greg, good night. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate you so much. Somebody did get back to me about the heart thing. Here it is, Mary. Thank you, Mary. Open it in half and bread stuffing like you use for turkey. I bet it's big too. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up. We're talking about the beef heart, stuffed beef heart that you bake in the oven. I would imagine you do low and slow. I would think maybe, but I don't really know because I'm not even sure how that would cook. Very interesting. And then Kathy's saying it tastes like corned beef with a little yellow mustard on it, but I don't know what you're talking about. What tastes like corned beef with a little mustard on it? Sorry, I missed that because I would have been interested in knowing what you were talking about. All right, there comes the yawn. See my paint. This means I've been hard at work. I've been painting. Good night, Craig. I think I already said good night, but anyway. Oh, stop it, George. Stop it. George is going to open up a bottle of Chianti, right? We'll have, what is it? Fava beans, right? Some liver and fava beans. Maybe marinate. That's what I'm thinking. Marinate the roast in a dry rub or something. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to see how that works. I just try, when you want to slow cook, I think a lot of people are probably like I am when it comes to cooking, and you may not always plan ahead. So I hate those recipes where the flavor really depends on planning ahead, because I am the worst at planning ahead. So I do sometimes when I'm smoking meat, plan ahead, not always though, but sometimes. But the idea of, okay, I'm going to make a pot roast on Thursday. So it's Tuesday. Now I've got to, dry brine it essentially, and put it in the refrigerator, and it takes up, a whole shelf. I hate that. I just would rather dump it all in and turn the pot on and, come back to a meal well cooked and well seasoned. But yeah, I'm going to look into that though, because the slow cooking didn't work. Thanks, Barb. That's interesting. Why does my Ninja Combi not tell me when to add food anymore? Well, the only time it tells you to add food is when it preheats, and it only preheats, and hear me out here, it only preheats on bake. So if you are on straight bake, it will preheat, and then it will tell you to add food. And then you have to open the door and add the food. Well, I mean, the food could technically be in there, but you do have to open and close the door to get it to start again. The Combi Crisp does not tell you to add food. Never did. Because the preheat is the steaming time. That's the time that it's taking to heat the liquid in the bottom of the pot, creating the steam for the steam part of the crisp, of the steam crisp. And then it switches over to air fry, which is the crisping part of the steam crisp. Steam bake, same thing. It's just a longer preheat, so longer steaming time. And that doesn't tell you to add food either. Toast, you put your toast in before you even start. And steam is the same way. You put your water in. So bake is the only one that will tell you to add food. And I would try it and see, just set it, to a low temp and set it to 5 minutes or whatever. It'll preheat, then it'll say add food. If yours doesn't say add food after the preheat time, then call Ninja. But it probably does. And because no other function will tell you that. Okay. I hope that answered that one. Good night, Aaron. Good night. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to pop off here now and go heat up dinner. It's 8 o'clock. By the time I get settled, it'll be 9 o'clock, and 5:30 when I either hop out of bed all happy or hobble out of bed because I have leg cramp. Either way, all happy. 5:30 comes early, right? It's been great catching up with you guys. I know it's been a weird one, huh? Talking about some weird stuff, but I like that. I enjoy that. I love hearing all your food adventures, all the things you eat, don't eat, would like to eat, would like to learn how to make. I love hearing all that stuff, And again, there's some things I will never eat, but most things I'm sort of willing to try. But there are some things that I'm a hard no. And that's okay. We don't have to like and eat everything, right? But we do have to respect the people who do. And that's that. We respect the people who do, even if we agree with it or don't agree with it, because what their culture and what their food preferences are their business, not ours. If you don't like it, stay quiet, right? All right. Love you guys so much. And I'll catch up maybe in a couple weeks, okay? And then maybe I'll have some timing down for when we're going to start doing this, whatever it is, whatever we're going to call it. It probably won't be Tasty Tuesday anymore, but whatever, there was one that was up there that was good. So we'll come up with some catchy name or not, and just say, what was it? Tasty something. I'll have to look back in the comments. It was kind of a cute one. But it just might be Jeff and Louise in the kitchen. I don't know. In the kitchen with Jeff. Let's vote on that one. In the kitchen with Jeff. And Jeff does all the cooking. That's like double thumbs up. Okay, well, somebody's calling me. They're saying, hi, Paprika. I'm not Paprika. And anyway, all right. Tasty time. That's it. Tasty time. Tasty time with Louise and Jeff. I don't know. People already think that we play romper room, so maybe that might be too much. I don't know. But anyway, we'll think about it. But Juliet, thanks for the suggestion for sure. And I will see you guys. I think I'll do this in two weeks. So catch up and we'll catch up again in 2 weeks. So bring all your all the food stuff that you like, don't like, want to eat, and tell me all about it. All right. Love you guys.